Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by the good folks at Vaughn Lane. I'm Blake Monroe, where I'm joined each and every morning by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Be sure to tell us where you're checking in from this morning. Get those questions in. Let us know what you're drinking as well. And, guys, let's jump right into it because a record was broken last weekend. May not have been the result everyone wanted, but a record was broken last weekend. And Texas, Ohio State, the most watched week one college football game on any network in history. It was also the third most watched regular season college football game ever on Fox. And it says 16.6 million viewers. That's the average. It actually peaked at 18.6 million for a 15-minute window.
How a game's going to go, the outcome of the game, all that is always hard to predict. But this was the easiest prediction of all.
Yeah.
This is the easiest prediction of all this year, is that this was good. This game was so hyped. It had Arch Manning's first road start. It was Texas, Ohio State, the defending national champ. Texas lost to Ohio State last year in a semi. Two of the biggest brands in college football. Lee Corso's final headgear pig. It was so big that College Game Day went into Fox territory and still had College Game Day. That's how big this game was. It comes as zero surprise that this broke records, guys, because it should break. This could have broke records. It was 11 a.m., had no competition at 11 a.m., and it was hyped up for months.
Arch Manning factor as well.
100%. Involved
in that. Yeah, there's a big piece of it. Look, Texas, Ohio State just goes to show when two blue bloods play in non-conference like this, it is going to attract attention. Michigan, Oklahoma this week is another situation where we'll see big numbers probably. The issue that I felt was really interesting here is Big Noon, because it goes over broadcast air, is getting huge numbers right now on Fox. Despite, in my opinion, it being a somewhat inferior product overall to ESPN. So Fox trying to make a real play. I will also say what it tells me is this: as much as we think college football could be broken from the outside, or for those of us that see it and see the issues with NIL, with revenue share, with NIL Go, there's something I want to talk about on that this morning as well. All these issues that we are seeing, okay, the fan itself and the fandom for college football is growing.
It's growing.
And that trumps all.
Bobby, and it goes back to what we've talked about. Despite all the negatives that people talk about with NIL and everything in college football, the 12-team playoff, Boise State had hope. Indiana hadn't done jack in basketball. They were in a college football playoff last year at a blue blood basketball school. Illinois has dreams of being in a college football playoff now, and they had no hope 3 years ago. Like Iowa State, you think Cody Campbell would be spending this much if he didn't have a chance to be a college football playoff team in NIL? The answer is no. You have a chance now because of the 12-team playoffs. Iowa State has a chance to be a playoff team this year. It's like the game I think is in a great place from a fan perspective, because if you're an NC State fan, you say, man, if we go have 1-10-2 season, we get to be in a college football playoff. They didn't have any hope before, realistically. I mean, so this is why it's great. College football is great. And when it goes to 16, it's going to be even better. So these guys, there's a lot of fan bases that actually have a reason to follow the season other than love of their university and team. When a few years ago, for a lot of them, it was just love a team. There was no light at the end of the tunnel, even if they don't think they're going to win a national championship, but they're going to be in a college football playoff. That's a big deal, man. It's why the NCAA basketball tournament is the mecca in college sports for me.
We have some other news going on. Before we do that, especially as it relates to Texas's roster, we broke some news this morning. But Jerry and Blake, I want to continue on what I was saying about NIL Go real quick.
Yep.
And some of the issues that we are seeing at this point. Ross Dellinger, who's been on the show before, national sports writer for Yahoo, literally put out some data today that is astronomical. I mean, it's just unbelievable, in my opinion, guys. Here it is. Data released by 25 NIL collectives of submitted deals to NIL Go. 384 total. Okay. Those approved, only 25 of 384, roughly 5%, right? Denied, 120. Under review, 239, as well as recommendation on changes to the College Sports Commission. So basically, let me explain this to somebody. If you were expecting a paycheck from an NIL collective, you've got less than a 5% chance of having already received that. And you're playing right now without assurances that it'll be paid by the time you finish college football season. I'm not here. I am not pro athlete. I'm not pro school. I'm trying to sit in between the middle of these two instances. But I'm telling you, if you were a employee of anywhere and you thought you were due a paycheck, do you keep working if you don't get your paycheck? Or if you don't know you're going to get your paycheck? It's just, this is why the NCAA is typically, and the people that run it are typically so short-sighted. I would be, look, if I hired, all right, Blake Monroe, Blake, I'm going to tell a third party that I got to go get approved to pay you. And you're going to work for 3 months until I can pay you. And then what if that third party tells me, no, I can't pay you? It's just, this is the problem when the NCAA passes the buck or they create something new. It is so messed up. I mean, I feel sorry for the NIL collectives that are trying to, I mean, these are people that are trying to be honest and make deals up front, et cetera. The players are getting deals up front and they're either being denied or delayed. Now, I'm okay in some ways if you want to put guardrails on the system. This is not the way you do it, though. You don't ask somebody to do things and then not pay them after the fact. It just, as part of their overall compensation. That's my opinion. That is that is the NCAA just doing the same old, same old.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a diet.
No, it needed to happen.
In better news, by
the way, when that tweet came up, I thought that was just the USC 26 recruiting class. I was like, what's going to happen to everybody else?
They very well may have been. Now, I will say it did not say Texas was one of those NIL collectives that submitted data. So I'm not necessarily saying this is happening at Texas. So I think that's very important to remark or to note. All right. In better news for the Longhorns, and we had to do a special video this morning because of it. Jonah Williams, the defensive back, 5-star athlete out of Galveston Ball, has returned to the practice field, our sources tell us, and is a possibility to play as soon as this weekend. Now, it may be in the next couple of weeks or whatever, but he is back on the field and participating fully. He traveled with the team, of course, to Ohio State, but was not going to play. But he is now back practicing. He's had a hamstring issue for months that he really started dealing with during baseball season, kept him out of that quite a bit. But he is expected back, and we use the term his return is imminent, Jerry.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if it's this week, if it's 2 weeks from now.
And it depends on how the week of practice goes.
Oh, yeah, whether or not he has a setback and all this other stuff. But the reality of it is this is a guy that he's a playmaker.
Yes.
Now, is he going to come in and be a Ryan Wingo right away or somebody like that who you really expect to take the reins in that role? No. But could he help on punt returns? Could he help on kick returns? Could he find himself in there somewhere? We'll find out. But I think it's tremendous news because, look, you're trying to add to your roster instead of subtracting during the season, right? Because you know there's going to be attrition, especially via injury. So when you can get somebody back, whether it's a Jonah Williams or hopefully an Emmett Mosley by the time it is SEC opener, it is a big deal for the University of Texas. And I think that we'll see. We'll see what he looks like on a college football field. He has not done it yet, but boy, he looked like a uber athlete in baseball. That's for sure.
Yeah, look, I think I would expect to see him on special teams right out of the gate. And it's not like somebody on TexasFootball.com in the discussion, or actually it was the YouTube comments, was like, well, Kelvin Banks, even though he didn't have spring practice, came in and started right away. Well, yeah, but that's a totally different situation than Jonah Williams. And Texas had to have Kelvin Banks at left tackle. The cupboard was bare at that position. And this is a totally different deal. And I actually think it's good for Jonah because Michael Taft, because Jelani McDonald, because Derek Williams is there. You don't have to throw, as talented as he is, you don't have to throw him all on the field at safety in a position to potentially fail. He hasn't had any spring practice. He hasn't had any fall camp, real consistent practice up to this point until this week. That takes time. I don't care how talented you are. That takes time. But I think special teams, you can see him right away. And in these games, the next 3 games, which we'll decide, Sark will decide how these games ultimately go for the bettors and the line covers and all that, that follow that stuff. That's going to really be up to Sark and what he wants to get out of these games, because you can win these games by about as much as you want and cover spreads. But they want to get something out of these games more than the score at the end of the day, and that may be playing more guys. So Jonah will get his opportunities, but I think he's in a really good spot because you don't have to force him in at safety right away. You can gradually bring him in at safety, but I do think he has a chance to make plays on special teams right out of the gate for Texas if given an opportunity. I think he's that talented.
All right, we got some other news with Wardell Mack we need to get to, but Blake, let's tell folks about Vaughn Lane.
Yes.
The biggest games and events are calling, and Vaughn Lane is the best way to get there. Skip the airport stress. Forget the long, exhausting drive. Instead, step aboard a Vaughn Lane motor coach where every seat is first class. Just 22 oversized leather seats with 140-degree recline, leg rest, and personal space you won't find anywhere else. I took this from Houston to Dallas 2 weeks ago, and man, what a pleasure it was. Your onboard attendant serves complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips, full meals. Literally, they come by 10 times, 15 times during a trip. It was awesome. So you can arrive refreshed and ready for kickoff, the concert, or a race. Booking is now open through November. Lock in your seat for Texas OU in Dallas, F1 in Austin, ACL, or big football weekends anywhere. Nashville, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. Vaughn Lane connects Austin, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Nashville, Atlanta, Memphis, and new routes including Knoxville, the Woodlands, and Plano. Reserve your ride today at VaughnLane.com and use promo code OTF25 to save $20 on your first trip. Vaughn Lane, private jet on wheels. When I tell you guys, it was an awesome trip from Houston to Dallas. It was awesome. I was able to work the whole time. I took phone calls, charged up my battery to my phone, the whole 9 yards. It was great.
Good stuff. All right, Bobby, you mentioned Wardell Mack. Let's jump back to that. What do y'all got for us?
Yeah, so look, obviously everybody knows what the arrest was. From a team standpoint, this one kind of really, and I said it in the video we released this morning on Jonah Williams, this one's bad for me. Like, kids are kids, right? You don't expect these kids to be perfect, but this is 2 days after you lost to Ohio State. You should be really locked in as a teammate, and your team should be really locked in. You lost on the road at Ohio State, and you're out after the time people say the bad things normally happen, and it's a Tuesday of a game week at 1 a.m. with what happened.
Yeah,
you're not locked in to your team. Bottom line, you are not locked in. People can say, "Oh, guys, go out." That's fine. You lost to Ohio State on the road 2 days prior, 3 days prior. You're not locked in with your team. Bottom line.
Yeah. What happened, for those unaware, Wardell Mack was booked for, I believe, driving under the influence or driving while intoxicated. I can't remember the exact term, but was released on bond, I think, or released, period. The issue is he was doing it at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
On Wednesday morning. And, Texas has had issues. Every team has issues like this. They really do. To Jerry's point, the difference with Mack compared to, say, a Nick Brooks, where it happened in the middle of late April, early May, and it happening in the middle of football season in a week, ostensibly when Wardell Mack is going to play quite a bit, by the way, and did not play against Ohio State. For it to happen in this week may show a little bit of a lack of responsibility is not the right word, but smarts. I mean, you don't do that in the middle of football season, and so I think that'll be interesting. But look, Wardell, Steve Sarkisian released a statement on that and said that they will deal with this privately in-house. It is similar, in my opinion, going to be somewhat similar to what they did with Nick Brooks. Nick Brooks, the big offensive tackle, freshman, did not participate in the Ohio State game. Now, he was there and everything else, but he did not participate. So I kind of wonder, or half wonder, if he was on a little bit of a suspension during that game. And we'll start to see him now during this 3-game stretch prior to conference play.
All right, fellas, we got a super chat from Jeff Carey. I'm going to go back to real quick regarding viewership that we talked about to open the show. Jeff, thank you. Says highest last year regular season was Georgia versus Texas during the regular season, amassed 13.19 million viewers. So Texas responsible for both regular season games so far.
And he had another post. What was the national championship? 26
million.
So, I mean, look, the fact that Texas came within that Texas-Ohio State game came within 8 million of a national championship game, that's a pretty amazing number. Obviously, it set a record. But I expect, look, in the next 3 weeks, and not going to break records. Texas at Florida in 3 weeks, that's probably going to be one of the most viewed. I'm guessing that's going to be a night game at the Swamp. That's going to probably be one of the most viewed college games this season too, because it's going to be Arch Manning and DJ Lagway, assuming Lagway makes it out of the games at LSU and Miami healthy. That's going to be one of the most viewed games this season as well. Then Texas OU the week after. Arch Manning, John Mateer, depending on what Oklahoma does against Michigan and Auburn. I think Texas could set team records for regular season viewing in college football this year. That's where it's headed.
Let's get some wins to where we make the games compelling. I mean, seriously.
Well, yeah.
Make the game. If you're good, fans will follow. Viewers will follow.
Yeah, but in the case of the Mannings, people, you might get 10 million wanting them to fail.
Oh, the hate viewers.
Yeah.
We're talking about adding the hate viewers.
Yes.
I don't care about those guys.
But that's what you're going to get with the next 2 years.
That may be true. I don't like those guys though. I don't. We don't count them.
All right, well, let's move on to recruiting this morning. It's been a while since we talked about that on Coffee and Football. So what do you have for us, Jerry?
Well, we're going to start actually with basketball recruiting because it's meaningful for this chat. Austin Gooseby, brother of Trevor Gooseby, 5-star guard, a future NBA player, no doubt. The question is going to be a 1 or 2 year player in college. He will make his official visit to Texas this weekend, along with another 5-star Cam Williams, 6'11" kid out of Phoenix St. Mary's. So 2 of the best players in the country are going to visit Texas in basketball this weekend. Obviously, that is a big one because last week Gooseby was at Duke for an official visit, and then Duke flew him and the family to Columbus, not back to Dallas, but to Columbus so they could watch Trevor play Saturday. But big visits coming up here for Texas with Austin Gooseby, Cam Williams. Football recruiting-wise, not recruiting kid decision-wise, But Diabell and Derek Cooper match up Friday night.
Woo!
Florida. So that'll be Diabell versus Derek Cooper. Cooper kind of hurt his ankle a little bit in the opener. Didn't play a ton last week. I'm guessing they were saving him more for this week because they played a game they knew they were going to win last week. But Diabell, and I'm going to have all the commitment schedules up on TexasFootball.com about 30, 40 minutes after this show. I'm almost done with that. It just takes a while to build out. But that's a big one in recruiting. We had a recruiting question. I'll just bring this up. Somebody King Kunta, Miami insiders insinuating James Johnson may flip soon. Is that legit? We shall see on that. I think that, look, he's committed to 2 SEC schools. We'll see. We'll see on that. Miami will keep fighting until signing day, like Florida kept fighting on Myron Charles. Those recruitments will play out. James Johnson will be on campus at Texas this year. Derek Cooper's official visit is September 20th. Some 2027s are starting to line up some unofficial visits to Texas. We'll talk about some of those kids as their visits get closer, though, because some of those kids are committed elsewhere. But on 2026 recruiting is that, we expect all those guys, those out-of-state guys to start that are committed to Texas to be on campus starting in late September, then Texas on the road, October, then in November as well. And there's going to be battles all the way to the end on these guys. There always are. The key thing here, the key thing to watch here in the state of Florida in recruiting for me, and I'm not saying guys are going to flip, is with Miami beating Notre Dame, Florida plays at Miami in a couple of weeks, Florida State beating Alabama. The state's got a little more mojo right now. We'll see what happens as the season moves along because that state hasn't had the mojo. And that is one of the reasons it's been happy hunting grounds for years for Nick Saban, for Kirby Smart, because those schools were in kind of drifting for a while. They have a little mojo now. After that, FSU went over Alabama, Miami over Notre Dame. Now we'll see what happens this season. But right now, there's a lot of positives in the state of Florida, where in recent years, there hasn't been as many.
They may beat each other up over the coming weeks,
yes.
To be fair. The other issue with the Miami and Florida State will always be that they're playing in the ACC, and people will use that and have used it successfully against them. I would say one thing as it relates to recruiting. Kason Bowman, young man out of Brentwood, Tennessee, is visiting Texas on November 1st, according to Rivals.com national reporter Chad Simmons, a friend of Jerry and I. He reported that he's currently committed to Oregon.
He's a 2027, by the way, not a 26.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, 27.
Yeah.
My brain's going dead this morning. But he's coming in November 1st. He's committed to Oregon. We'll see if there's anything to that. But there's a number of guys that they're setting up for unofficial visits over the next couple of weeks, to Jerry's point. Hey, Jerry, we were talking earlier, and I want to comment on something because I wrote it down. You were comparing the Kelvin Banks situation, coming in and starting right away as a true freshman at left tackle. And you said, look, the cupboard was kind of bare at that time at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree. There were not three NFL caliber players at left tackle.
Yeah.
For Kelvin Banks to get through at left tackle when he arrived. There are 3 NFL safeties.
Yes.
On this Texas roster for Jonah Williams to try to weave his way through.
Yeah.
So there is a categorical difference. He can be just as good a player at just the same age and not be on the field because, look, I mean, Michael Taft, Jelani McDonald, and Derek Williams all have starting experience at the SEC level.
Yeah.
Taft has multi-year experience. Williams played a lot his freshman year, then his sophomore year last year before he got injured. McDonald came on and started all the games late last year, or played a lot late last year. So there could be a difference in that regard, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's a great spot for Jonah. The worst thing that could happen to him is be forced into action before he's ready at safety, because if you blow coverages at safety, it's touchdowns. And then you're trailing guys on national TV, and they're saying the 5-star freshman got beat over the top for a 75-yarder. So I think it's a really good spot for Jonah. Come in, get your feet wet on special teams. Not that he won't play. These next 3 games, you can play if he does, in fact, take the field. And unless he has a setback, we think it's imminent, as we said. But he gives him a chance to work his way into it without being forced into it. And I don't care how talented you are. If you played baseball in the spring and weren't football focused, then you miss fall camp. You're forced into it in that situation. If you have to play a lot of snaps that you're at a position right out of the gate, you're forced into it. It just doesn't work that way.
All right. Before we move on here, Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone about Tecovas this morning.
Oh, I love Tecovas. Anywhere worth going is worth going in good boots. Tecovas crafts quality Western boots for everyone, from generational ranchers and lifelong cowboys to first-time boot buyers. I'm somewhere in between. I'm like 7th or 8th time boot buyer. Tecovas boots are handcrafted with more than 200 meticulous steps for broken-in comfort right out of the box, and their in-store experience is unparalleled with expert staff and complimentary beverages and customizations. Look, they are perfect for going out on a date with the wife or just wearing around. Right now, including football games, by the way, this weekend. Right now, get 10% off at Tecovas.com/Texas football when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off at TECOVAS.com/Texas football. Tecovas.com/Texas football. See site for details. Tecovas, point your toes west. They also have the best in West guarantee. You get free returns and exchanges for 30 days. That's Tecovas.com.
And I'm going to tell everyone this morning about PrizePicks. And we make decisions daily, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. And with football now here, it's time to make that money. PrizePicks is simple to play. You're just going to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. It's the best way to get in on sports action in more than 40 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and right here in the Lone Star State. PrizePicks has the NFL. They have college football as well, including just about any and every other sport you can think of. And this week, I have Michigan running back Justice Haynes to score a touchdown against OU and Arch Manning to have more than 268 passing yards.
Whoa!
Yeah. So come join me on those picks or make your own in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code ONTexas when you sign up. You're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code ONTexas to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And that's PrizePicks. Run your game.
Blake, didn't you hear that Manning's finished? His career's over?
Those are those 8 million haters that watch the game.
Man.
Look, Michigan, Oklahoma, big game. Big game for the Sooners. You know, whether or not they're really back, you would have to think that a true freshman quarterback at Michigan is going to have real problems against a Brent Venables coach defense that has had time to marinate. It's not his first year coaching defense at Oklahoma. You know, this is a defense that should be his and his alone now. I'm interested to see where this goes. So, but if Justice Haynes, the running back for Michigan, is going to need like 3 touchdowns for Michigan to win, because I don't think they're going to. Yeah, and you've only got 1. He's going to need 3, otherwise they've got no chance. That's my opinion. Arch for 268 plus. That's that's pretty salty stuff. We'll see what he can do. Hopefully he's efficient in doing that, Blake.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see something like 15 of 20, right? Or 20 of 26. I don't want to see the worst thing. Maybe the worst thing we could see is something like 15 of 27, where the completion ratio just isn't there. But we'll see how it goes.
I think that on the Michigan, Oklahoma, I'm very interested to see Oklahoma's offensive line against Michigan.
Yes.
I mean, that's the position I'm going to be watching for Oklahoma in that game. is their offensive line because Michigan still has players. I want to see how their offensive line performs in that game. I think that's going to be pretty telling for Oklahoma's fans' thoughts on their season is how they play against Michigan on the offensive line. Not that team positions don't improve, but if they struggle, that's not going to be a good sign for them with the schedule in front of them.
And I believe last time I looked, Oklahoma was a 5.5-point favorite in that game. That was as of yesterday.
I can't believe that anybody thinks that. Do you think Michigan's going to score more than 10 points in this game?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. You do too, Blake.
I do.
Maybe I didn't. Look, their freshman quarterback is just, I mean.
It's a tough spot. But here's the thing. It's Oklahoma. I mean, I'm not insulting the Oklahoma fans in the chat, but it's not like they have some wild home field atmosphere that's like crazy and you can't hear yourself. They don't have that. I don't know how many points Michigan's going to score in this game, but I do think they'll score. I think they'll score more than 10.
A lot of the chat saying around 20. That's kind of what I'm at as well.
Yeah, I mean Oklahoma. If Oklahoma's going to have a 8-4 or reach the 9-3 level, they need to look good in this game against Michigan. They need to look good. That's the main thing for them. They need to look good on both sides of the ball on the lines. The defensive line needs to be what people expect it to be, and Michigan struggles to run the football. And the offensive line needs to hold up well against some really good players at Michigan. If they struggle at all there, Brent Venables can pretty much start bringing down the cardboard boxes.
Hey, somebody said that and wrote there that the Michigan freshman quarterback should be miles ahead of their walk-on that started against Texas last year. David Rawls said that. I disagree. I mean, Bryce Underwood did not have a complicated high school offense, guys. He did not. And that's my opinion. Now, physically, is he light years ahead? Yes. But that doesn't – in the college game, that only counts for so much Oklahoma's not going to let him take off and run every time. And Brent Venables won't let him do that. Yeah. And so I have a hard time seeing how Michigan, unless they get a defensive touchdown, is going to score more than 10 points in this game.
Yeah.
Or a setup of, a short yardage situation because, the center for OU has had issues, by the way. That's what I was told during that game. I did not watch it.
Yeah.
In all fairness, I know you saw some of it, Jerry.
Benji, my point on this is I don't care what on the contract for Brent Venables. If he goes 6-6 or 7-5 and they don't look good doing it, he's toast, man. They can't keep doing it.
Yeah, the only question will be, would the new coach keep Jim Nagy or accept the job?
And who's the AD hire?
Yeah.
Good point.
Fair.
Now let's go back to Arch Manning for a moment because we have a super chat regarding him and the San Jose State game from DJ Alexander. Thank you for the super chat. Says, do you think Sark should pull Arch early on Saturday when Texas starts blowing San Jose out, or keep him in a little longer to get more game reps?
It's a good question. I think it depends on. Look, I watched some of the San Jose State coaches. I can't pronounce his name. Press conference. Yeah, I watched it on YouTube, and that was a funeral, dude. Like, that was rough, man. He needs joy mode. But gotta have props on this show. I think it depends on just what the coverages look like, what the game actually looks like for Sark from his eyes. Arch should play at least 3 quarters in this game, and I think San Jose State. Look, I don't think it's be 50-0 at halftime. I don't think it's anything like that. I think San Jose State will show a little fight, especially the embarrassing loss they had. Like the coach said, it was the worst loss of his career, is what he said in the press conference. So I think they're going to put up a fight. They don't have the talent to stay in it long term, but they'll put up a fight. I think Arch needs to play 3 quarters. And I'm going to maintain what I've said. I think he needs – however Sark is going to call the plays, and get it done within the game. I think Sark and Arch need to see every ball completed that he's going to be asked to throw this season in the next 3 weeks.
Oh, that's an interesting.
Every route. He needs that. Sark and Arch need to see themselves have success throwing all the routes that he's going to be asked to throw this season. Complete those balls.
I think the people in the chat, by and large, agree with you, Jerry. 3/4 sounds right, especially this early in the season. Like this, if they get going and take care of business against UTEP and Sam Houston and that stuff, you can see him coming out to playing a half and then playing maybe the first play of the second half, first series of the second half, that sort of stuff, if things are going in the right direction. But I think in this game, you need 3 full quarters.
Oh, yeah.
You want him to get his sea legs, to get the mechanics down, to get the pacing of the game. I think even if the score is ugly, and we're not saying it's necessarily going to be that ugly right out of the gate. I mean, Texas
these games depend on how Sark wants them to go by.
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't forget 2 years ago, Texas played Rice at home.
Yeah.
At the opener. And that game was, I'm not saying it was tight, but Texas didn't exactly open up a can of you-know-what on them.
Yeah.
Early. And so I think that I will say this based on Texas losing to Ohio State and Sark and the players wanting to prove themselves a little bit. I think that the spread of this game at 38.5, Blake, something like that, is a little low based on what I know. And how I feel this game might go. There it is.
I think
36.5.
I think the biggest thing in this game, over the course of this game, isn't, yes, the Texas talent differential, but San Jose State is rolling into Austin. It's going to be 140 degrees on the field. That is a different thing physically. So as much as the talent gap, and that spread's gone down from 38.5 to 36.5, the over-unders remain the same. But as much as the talent gap is there, the heat gap from Austin to San Jose, California, is massive in this game.
Well, it's not even the heat; it's the humidity.
Yeah.
Holy.
Well, 140 degrees on a field is a massive number, right? I mean, you may as well sit in the sauna for 3 hours.
That's why
they do it for 15 minutes.
Some players lose 10 pounds in a game.
Yeah.
Some of these big dudes lose that much water weight in a single game.
Yeah. And by the way, their offensive line, they're going to get it out of their hands quick because that offensive line will not hold up against Texas pass rushers.
And Texas should have the numbers to do that to them.
Yeah.
The number of pass rushers.
Yeah, for the people in going to the game, this is the game where you buy the kind of the cushion chair back Texas chair. You know, you don't sit on the stands, right?
No, yes. I'm looking at San Jose weather here right now. Super high tomorrow in San Jose, California.
68,
76 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different. By the way, it's overcast and a high of 81 today in San Jose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not sure what to tell you. It ain't going to be, if it's overcast, it'll be hot and overcast in Texas.
Yeah.
It will be a wake-up call.
That's not good. Yeah, it's not good for a team from Northern California flying to Austin.
Hey, hang on. So that weather forecast I actually pulled last night, they've changed it.
What?
Yes, they have. I don't know. I'm obviously not a meteorologist. The high now is 88 on Saturday
for Texas, for the Texas game
in Austin. Yeah.
Oh, it's the front. It's the high. It's the high. It's the front.
So my apologies on putting that up because that, like I said, I pulled that last night. But this morning, as of right now, it says a high of 88, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. Cloud cover 70%.
That changes things, Jerry. It's a high of 100 today in Austin, high of 97 tomorrow.
Yeah, that front from the north is kind of gathering south.
I'm getting it up here on the screen for you all, so y'all can, everybody in the chat can see it as well. Yeah, right there, high of 88, real feel 92. So
Here's the best news for the Texas fans. The UV index is only a 5 for that game. Because I care about your skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big difference, I think. Wind gusts up to 10 miles an hour.
Here's the difference. In the UV's 5.0, you have your gooders on above your hat line. If it's a 7.0, you have your gooders on during the game. That's the difference. So your gooders are, sitting on your hat at 5.0. That's the difference.
Yeah. So not as bad.
At 10.0, you go to the car and watch it on the TV, on your computer.
All right, Bobby, I need you to tell everyone about one of our new sponsors this morning. That's Window Nation.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that, Blake. Look, Window Nation, we're all feeling the heat of summer, except on Saturday, apparently, here in the Austin area. And your AC is working overtime, just trying to keep your house cool and comfortable. What can you do to make a difference? Replace your old or builder-grade windows with ones from Window Nation. This month only, schedule a consult and get 50% off all window styles. Plus, you could even get them with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Want more? Replace all your windows and get an Austin FC jersey, plus a chance to win game tickets or a VIP experience. Window Nation's windows are made using high-quality materials with precision fit, so your home stays cool and comfortable year-round. They're also installed by factory-trained pros, many with more than 15 years experience. With a team of local experts and over 45,000 5-star reviews, you can trust Window Nation for quality and service. Hurry. This 50% off all windows sale ends soon, so don't miss out. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Proud partner of Austin FC and the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry needs new windows up there. You better get after it.
Anybody in the chat have a
866-90-NATION.
90 Nation? Good company. By the way, anybody own a clock cleaning company? Because San Jose State's coming to Austin to get theirs cleaned. So if anybody has an ad read for us the next 3 weeks, a clock cleaning company would be great.
Hope so.
No, it's happening.
Don't let any of this sneak up and be Appalachian State against Michigan.
I don't think
it's going to happen either, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen to you. Texas has too much of an offensive coach. The teams that typically lose those kind of games are teams that don't have offensive coaches, by the way. I don't know if like Nick Saban when he lost to Louisiana Monroe, they lose those games because they don't have a great offensive coach typically. Or it's a triple option team or something like that.
Hey, by the way, good to see Josie in this morning. Oregon and Oklahoma State. Is there a bet that both coaches could coach that game shirtless?
Wouldn't surprise me. You can bet on just about anything nowadays.
And I mean, there's got to be a bet line out there for that, right?
Did you hear that Mike Gundy is redoing his famous "I'm 40, I'm a man"?
Yeah, we talked about it in the chat yesterday. Actually.
Yeah, into a commercial. Yeah. Now I'm 50, I think.
Yeah.
Good for Mike.
He's 50 and about to be fired. Or retire.
Oh,
yeah. I think he can afford to retire after making millions for like
he certainly can, and I'm jealous. And he's a great coach.
Yeah.
He's a great coach, and Oak State is in a tough spot in the NIL world.
Well, it looks like our special guest for today is here, bringing Will Matthews in. Will, how are we doing this morning?
Good, team. How y'all doing?
Good, Will. Everything going all right? Hey, you got a different assignment this week. You got DKR instead of Ohio Stadium there for the Longhorn Network, their game day radio analyst. What's going on in your mind, and what did you see last weekend? You think this team's going to bounce back this weekend?
You know, I think this is going to be a true test for the guys. When you stub your toe or you get punched in the face, it's your next reaction that kind of dictates who you are as a team and as a group. So we talked a lot about preseason, about their confidence and how they were moving, the cohesiveness inside of the Sark-built program. I mean, and we were really resting on what we had hoped would happen. And in some areas, the guys lived up to it, and in some areas, not so much. I do think that this gives me an opportunity for the guys to really bounce back. In fact, if they get it together, it's going to be a long day Saturday. But this is, you know, as a former athlete and fan and friend of the program, I want to see how they react, and this will tell us. This will tell us who they are. You know, we can't paint a full picture on 2 games, but we'll have some information to infer some things. So looking forward to this Saturday.
You never want to see it through player error, but Wardell Mack, what happened with Wardell Mack gives Steve Sarkisian one hell of a speech for his team this week, headed into the game as well. Just a little sidebar on that one, what Will's talking about too. You never like that to happen, but that staff's going to be like, all right, guys, it's where are we at right now? Y'all need to go prove where we're at as a team.
Hey, Will, you were down there. You were down there on the sidelines post game, during the game. What was the vibe you got from those guys? I mean, you mentioned that one more game will give you more data, essentially a larger sample size to draw from. What did you see though down there, and what were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, you know, and being close to the team right there on the sideline, you kind of pick up on a couple of extra things. And Bobby, what a great question. You know, I think especially when you know, the first offensive play of the game, Arch skips the ball off the ground. I think there was like a genuine sense of what?
Yeah.
And I don't think that sense was just shared through the team. I think Arch too, as he walked off the field, was like, okay, I've got to pull this together. And you know, I never got the sense that the guys were overwhelmed by the opportunity. I really did feel like a lot of the guys went into this game feeling like they were like, you know, they were going to win this game. There wasn't a doubt in anybody's mind, but everybody really was able to kind of see what was going on. And, you know, kudos to them for the fourth quarter play. And of course we can talk about the defense for days and days, but if you're not serviceable on the offensive side and the defense isn't perfect, which they weren't on Saturday, and who can be, it's really, really difficult to make up that gap. And what is it? Big plays, explosive plays, turnovers, and special teams. And Texas wasn't the winner there on those metrics, and it's really hard to pull out, even though they came back. I mean, like, we stood on the doorstep of being tied and a couple of extra plays on offense. I mean, 2 plays on offense. It could have been 14-14 or 17-14 or maybe even more than that. So the woulda, couldas, but that sense from the sideline it was some very, very confident guys who felt like things were going to go a different way, and it really didn't.
So, Will, last year, I think we talked about this, maybe with you, or I know we talked about it on the show, but last year when you walked off the field in Jerry World, you probably said Ohio State was the more physical team in that game. I think we all kind of thought that. If people just look at the 2 plays, Ohio State ran it down in the red zone on 4th down on the exact same play as they did a few months prior, and then Texas got stoned. People would say, oh, Ohio State was the more physical team. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Did you see a difference in physicality? Was Texas as physical as Ohio State in this game, in your opinion?
So, you know, I think there's a difference between wanting to play well and playing well. And I think that was a very, very small difference. You had guys who wanted and played physical, but weren't able to execute that end little bit. So it can kind of feel as if they weren't as physical, or they weren't where they're supposed to be. On the defensive side, the guys were really physical, especially the guys up front. I was really impressed. The front 7, of course, we talked about it ad nauseum about how incredible they are, but really those guys up front, January, Bavard, like, I was really like, whoa. There was a lot of stoning there and a lot of different techniques and personalities. And there was a lot of physicality up there. But if you turn around on the offense, what it felt like sometimes was it wasn't that guys didn't want to be physical and they weren't focused. It's they might have been a little more deer in the headlights. Taking practice reps and translating that to game reps, it's just a different world. A lot of the players on the offensive side, I mean, there may have been only one starter that from last year. And the guys had to play at the highest level that they've ever played, and be on cue with all of their plays and cohesiveness and moving as one thing against Ohio State. And that I didn't feel like they weren't physical. I just feel like the execution and maturity wasn't there.
Well, that to your point, Will, as an offensive player and as an offensive team, when you see things that confuse you, there's hesitation. So you're not going to look as physical, but that doesn't mean you aren't playing physical. If you get confused, then you look less physical than you're actually playing.
Very much. I mean, just look at CJ Baxter picking up the blitz. He knew exactly what to do, where to go, and I felt that.
Yeah.
Wonderful play, but that right there is experience. That right there is being confident and comfortable in who you are and what you do and being in the right place at the right time. Do guys know what they're supposed to do? Yes. Were they in the right place at the right time? I mean, questionable, depending on the person and depending on the play. And like we talked about before, on the defensive side, you can have 10 guys running in the wrong direction. If one guy is where he's supposed to be, he has a really good opportunity to make the play. On offense, you got to have 11 moving at the right time. And, you know, we had 2 or 3 and sometimes 8 or 9, but getting all of those guys together to do their job at once, I mean, we can't have a 4th and 1 on the goal line and not make it.
Hey, say what you want. And Will, you're a former player. You don't make 4th and goal on the 1. Most former players, I'm not saying current roster, and they would say, if you don't make 4th and goal at the 1, you don't deserve to win.
Yeah.
That is the, I'm not saying it's true or should be true. But that is, I guarantee you that's what Casey Studdard would say.
Yes.
like you don't make 4th and goal at the 1, you don't deserve to win.
Well, Bobby, last year and the year before, post Bijan and Rowe, like there has not been a statement run to where we line up, we bring in our tight ends, our guys, we get that 1 to 3 yards. So on the offensive side, in case he'll tell you this, when you can do that, what you do is you impose your will against the defense, and they know that when it all comes down to it, we can't stop you. And when they stop them on the goal line, after getting in on the goal line, they really made a statement, and they rode that momentum the rest of the game. And it was just too much for Texas to overcome. You have got to, and just throwing everything aside, if it is 3rd and 1. 2nd and 1, 4th and 1, that's got to be a first down. Cedric Benson we didn't come off the field for that. That was automatic. So,
yeah, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Hey, Brian Irwin, former high school football coach, joins us every couple of days. He does lunch with the coach with us. Is also going to join us tomorrow morning. He was up in Columbus. He was noticing Arch's demeanor a little bit is different than what he naturally has been. Arch on a football field, if you don't notice him, he's usually a little happy-go-lucky, jacked up to go in. He didn't look like himself last Saturday. He looked a little timid is not the right word. I'm not overwhelmed either, but he wasn't the jovial, normal Arch Manning.
He was in warm-ups, by the way.
Yeah. Did you notice any of that or not?
Yeah, Bobby, I totally did. And Jerry, just to your point, like in warmups, there was that, let's go. I mean, and I walk over and a part of the broadcast is I like to check in on all the skill positions, me being a running back and quarterbacks. And what I'm looking for is guys, are they executing in warmups, and are the wide receivers catching the ball? Now, in warmups, the guys look great. They look like they knew what they were doing, but the second that ball skipped, I don't know I don't know what happened internally between the ears, but there was a little bit of a different, his swag looked a little different from then on. And I really think it took him the second quarter and the third quarter of being surprised to get himself together for the fourth quarter, because he started to show signs of it rekindling there. But
yeah,
go ahead.
Will, I don't know if you heard what Joel Klatt said, and I think Joel Klatt nailed this. He was like, when I made my first start on the road, it was at Kansas State, and they were really good defense. He said, I felt like I had an out-of-body experience. I was missing simple plays, simple checks at the line, and he said he that's kind of what he thought he saw calling the game.
You're so right there. I remember the first time I walked out into DKR and not to play backup and to catch an extra rep behind Matt Trissel and those guys. when me, Vince, and Cedric Benson walked out for the first time, and it was us. It was our backfield. It was our offense. In the first block, I went and I wanted to kill that guy. Oh my God! And I whiffed. I totally whiffed. I totally whiffed. And that next play, I had my hands in the dirt and my hands were shaking. And it wasn't that I wasn't focused. It wasn't that I didn't know what I was doing. Is that I really, really did not want to let myself and my team down. And I think that's what might have happened. I tell you what, when anxiety comes, it has toppled better men than me. And you can see that there was a turmoil in him to the person that he knows that he is and the person that he was playing as. And he's figuring it out, and he's got a couple of games to walk through that. But as an athlete and as a person, that's really our struggle. Rarely is it about the athletic ability. You don't get to Texas if you don't have it. It's right here.
Will, thank you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, that was it.
No, I was going to tell you, thank you for joining us. I thought you were finishing up your thought. That's my apologies. Did you want to close with something real quick?
Yeah, and everybody gets the jitters, and like let's zoom out a bit and remember that this guy's early 20s. He has the weight of the world, and he says that he doesn't and all of that, but we know it's crap. The weight of the world is on his shoulders. And not only what I saw from him in preseason was that he really, really wanted to live up to the standard for hhis teammates. That's a different kind of pressure. Yeah. You're holding on to this whole team. And maybe the advice is, hey, bud, you don't have to do it all. We believe in you. Even if that is 25 handoffs and a screen, that's great. And it's 400 yards, whatever you have to do. We're with you. You got this. And so hopefully I think they'll start to ease into it this week. And I'm excited to see what that looks like, because it's going to be, they're going to stomp a hole in them.
I will tell folks where you can be heard and what you guys got going on with the Longhorn Network, radio network this weekend.
Yep. So, we'll be on the sidelines with the guys. So iHeartRadio is one of the best ways to listen. A lot of people are at the game, watching the game and listening to our broadcast. Find me on social media, Will Matthews now. And I've been doing some interesting interviews with the players on Mondays that are coming out throughout the week. And all sorts of different kinds of fun things I'll be putting out there. So come and see me. But this week and post game too, we'll be in the locker room with the guys. Win, lose, or draw, we're getting it done.
I appreciate you, Will. Thanks so much, and look forward to talking to you again next week, man.
Let's go.
All right, have a good weekend. It's going to be a little cooler down on the sidelines for him, we learned just a few minutes ago, right? 88 degrees.
88.
I'm going to knock this one out. J Top 247. Arch looked uncomfortable. There was a shoulder issue. Looked like his shirt was tight. He kept rolling his shoulder. He's always done that. When I saw him in high school, he's always done that. It's something about a shoulder pad thing for him. It's just getting comfortable for him. He's always done that. That was nothing new.
That's something that you always do, Jerry. Tell us about Chubby's.
Get your chubbies on, guys. Get your chubbies on. It's college football season. How could you not have your chubbies on? Are you ready for some football? If you're not, Chubbies is ready to help you with their NFL collection, whether you're tailgating, grilling, or riding the highs or thighs and lows of the game from your couch. Chubbies has officially licensed NFL gear, by the way, to keep you looking like the ultimate fanatic. With bold designs featuring your favorite NFL teams, Chubby's game day gear isn't just comfortable. It's a statement. Rep your team's logos in wild, comfortable polos, wave-making swim trunks, and gym-ready mesh shorts. Yep, you heard it here right. Swim trunks with your favorite NFL team's logos on them. All the comfort and swagger you need to take on every touchdown dance, chest bump, or those dramatic fourth-quarter meltdowns you all know are coming. If you're not a jersey guy, there's an elite alternative. If you're a jersey fanatic, something tells me you'll love the NFL collection of shorts at Chubby's, because when you're investing in the game, your outfit should be too. For a limited time, our exclusive code on Texas, use the exclusive code on Texas for $10 off at chubbysshorts.com/on Texas. Yes, that includes the NFL collection. Let the thighs out. Let the good times roll. The thighs of Texas are upon you. Good luck this NFL season, all you fans out there. Some of you will definitely need it.
And I need to tell everyone about HexClad. I've been raving about them all week, and I've told y'all all week. With the family of five, we cook a lot, which means we need reliable, durable cookware that gets the job done. I'm not talking about those cheap pans that food sticks to that scratch easily. Nope. In my household, we use HexClad. They're hands down the best pans we've ever used, and you get the performance of stainless steel and convenience of nonstick in one pan. And they're not only good enough for me, but even Gordon Ramsay uses them in his restaurants, in his home, and he's the toughest critic on the planet, so you know it's good stuff. And for a limited amount of time, our listeners get 10% off your order with our exclusive link. All you have to do is head to hexclad.com/on Texas. HexClad is durable. They're scratch resistant. So their patented hexagon design protects against scratches, even when using metal utensils. They're also oven safe. They can handle up to 500 degrees. And the best part is they come with a lifetime warranty. They literally last a lifetime. They're dishwasher safe. They're simple to wipe clean after each use. Seriously, the best cookware I've ever owned. And again, for a limited amount of time, you can get 10% off. Support our show. Check them out at hexclad.com/on Texas. That's HEXCLAD.com/on Texas. Make sure to let them know we sent you. Don't forget, bon appetit. Let's eat with HexClad's revolutionary cookware.
Great product.
Phenomenal stuff for sure. We got a few super chats, actually. Texas Jasper, thank you for yours. Says, glad to hear our team is mad and refocusing. The talent is all there. Execution is the word. Hook 'em. We got character. Great job as always, guys.
Let's see it. You know, we could talk. We talked about Sark's culture and how the culture is the only as good as what you put on the field. And so now with one loss, you know, it's time to put it on the field. I'm not saying they didn't show it last week because Will Matthews said it.
Yeah.
Look, they were fighting in the fourth quarter. That turned into a fight. They had the ball with a chance to go tie the score. Any way you slice it.
Yeah.
After playing kind of poorly on offense for 2.5, 3 quarters, that's a positive thing. So I do think they showed some resilience and some character in that way. But character only takes you so far. You got to go win football games. You got to go make things happen. And I think that's what, in some ways, that's kind of what Sark was talking about on Monday at his presser. Look, defense played really well. You still got to go make things happen, you know, to win games. They didn't get a turnover. First time in 24 games. Obviously, the offense was what the issue was primarily on Saturday. But the end result is the end result, and now it's time to go get it done.
And I'll say, I'm going to reiterate this too on that. You never like to see what happened with Wardell Mack, but boy, does that give Sark and his staff a message for this team. That's not for the kid, but for the staff, maybe a blessing in disguise situation for a staff, in a message that you don't really want to have to deal with. But if you do, it's pretty good timing.
Yeah, you just hate to see that kid be that example. But yeah.
All right, Terrence Jones with Super Chat says, hey, Blake, you think Sark is going to unleash the offense against San Jose State to get Arch confidence going? And Bobby and Jerry, same question. I say there's a reason I took the more than when it came to Arch's yards. My only concern is they pull him early. That's what's making me a little nervous. But I think they built some confidence this game. Bobby, I'll let you go next.
We talked about this, I think 3 quarters. And I do want to see, I know this is going to sound repetitive, but I'd like to see him complete 75% of his passes on Saturday. I really would. I mean, something like 15 of 20 would feel really good because it would show that he doesn't have accuracy issues, right? He can do some of the things that people didn't see him do against Ohio State with his feet. That I want to see that, Terrence. I want to see a efficient, effective performance. I think we know he can throw the deep ball, and maybe he uncorks 1 or 2 of those. But efficiency and effectiveness are paramount in this game. And I do think that Sark's going to try to get him there. Sark knows that's part of his job at this point.
Jerry?
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting to see what Sark does. I hope I've said it before. I hope San Jose State plays a lot of zone. I think that helps Arch, and I think that helps Sark from a play calling standpoint in the pass game. I think if they just sold out to stop the run and played man, I don't think that helps Texas long term. Ryan Wingo will win. DeAndre Moore will win. They will win the one-on-one matchups. Tight end will win. That doesn't help Texas. I want to see them play zone, and I think that helps Arch more than somebody just going and playing man and trying to stop the run in a game like this. So I hope they play zone. I also think it'll be interesting to see how Sark calls this game, because if Central Michigan ran it up that at San Jose State, Texas can too. I mean, they had 247 rushing yards. The running backs had 31 carries for 201 at San Jose State. And that's going to be the focus of San Jose State going into this game early on, at least, is that's the messaging. We can't let that happen. If they're running power on us up the middle for explosive runs, the game's going to get out of hand quickly. So how is Sark going to call this game? Is he going to try to establish the run early and push these guys off the football? Is going to be interesting to see how does he call this game, because I think they can win either way, but it's how Sark's going to try to win. And I mean, when I say win possessions. How's Sark going to try to win these possessions? Because it's going to look pretty easy on tape to run the football in San Jose State. They just don't have the personnel and the size.
Hey, Bobby, before we get to the last super chat of the day, I think it was Aaron. I can't find the comment, but he was asking about tailgates this weekend and what the plans were. I'm going to actually drop the link in the chat while you talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 3 things going on this weekend that I think you guys might be interested in. First of all, tomorrow morning, for Coffee and Football, Blake, you're going to see a different background from me and Jerry Hamilton. We're going out to the Hayes City store.
One of my favorite spots.
Yeah, we're going to go out there and broadcast live from there. I think we're going to be sitting in the back of the trunk of or the bed of a Dodge Ram pickup truck.
Oh, I didn't know that.
South Point Dodge.
Wow.
Hayes City store in the background. And then we're going to go have some I'm going to have a chicken fried steak for lunch. If you guys want to come out and join us for lunch, it opens at 11 a.m. I'm going to be out there. I think we're going to try to make this a regular thing on Fridays. A lot of people want to come and hang out. Maybe start doing that on Fridays out at Hayes City Stores. Please join us out there for lunch and just hanging out. And then Friday afternoon, if you haven't gotten any gear yet for this season, you know that the Co-op is the place to do that. And courtesy of our friends at 40 Acres Collection, we'll be doing a live show at the Co-op every game day Friday, home game Friday, from 3 to 4 o'clock. Come out, say hello. We'll be on air, but we always like to shake people's hand and talk to you a little bit afterwards. If you want to do that, it'll be myself, Jerry, as well as Rod Babers. So please do that. And then on Saturday, we have a tailgate. This is in conjunction with our friends over at Surly Horns. There is a fee for the tailgate, but it includes food, beer. We'll have Garage Beer, who's one of our sponsors this year, Flight from Yingling, all as part of the price. Blake is putting that in there. Please feel free to come out. It's open to anybody, but there are tickets to be had for that. We'd love to see y'all out there as much as possible. Of course, we've got all kinds of news and notes going on. We got the Saturday conversation early Saturday morning, and then we also have our Texas tailgate brought to you by our friends over at Hargrove Roofing. They'll do that. Then the in-game watch with us, brought to you by Vaughn Lane, and then the post-game show, our friends at Yingling Flight, or Flight by Yingling and Faust Distributing.
So I'm going to bring up Ski Breck's question real quick. So we aren't going to talk about the breaking news. 8,300 NIL deals just got approved, 300 plus denied, 80 million released. I just haven't had time to look up anything.
So we had the news from earlier today, and these 300 plus that got denied. There are still the issue with that Ski Breck we did talk about earlier. Okay. And we talked about 15, 20 minutes into the show. The issue we have right now is that there are still 200 plus deals remaining that have not been cleared and have not had adjudication any way whatsoever. And so these deals from collectives are being held up, and it is being a problem. And I will add this, a lot of those deals that you're talking about and that the NIL Go is being proud of having crossed the finish line, they predate the new ruling. So NIL Go just wanted it submitted, and they were going to allow it through the gates prior to that July 1 cutoff date. So I'm talking about the new deals, this reporting that we had from Ross Dellinger. The NCAA, that's a press release, in my opinion, that's a press release from the NCAA and NIL Go that is pointed and misleading. They're saying, oh, well, 80 million has been passed. Yeah, that was from June before you got installed, and you had to still run that through your system. These 21 collectives that got together and presented new data to Ross and Dellinger and Yahoo yesterday, that is a very real thing. And I'm just here to tell you, it's a problem. It is a problem.
All right, Bobby, before we get to the last super chat of the day, can you tell everyone about Vaughn Lane one last time?
Love it. Vaughn Lane is one of those places that I had never taken one until a couple of weeks ago, going up from Houston to Dallas. And I kind of just thought, why would I take a bus? And then I did it. And like now, if I were going from Houston or Dallas to Austin, I don't think I would take it another way on game day. I really don't think I would, because you have everything you need. You don't have to worry about getting in your car after the game. You just go to the hotel, get going, and they take you from there, and there's literally nothing you have to do. So if you got to get from one city to another, and like always, it's a toss-up, deal with airport chaos and hope your flight isn't delayed, or brace yourself for hours behind the wheel battling traffic. There's a third option, and it's better in every way. You arrive at a luxury hotel terminal. You take your car or you take an Uber. No TSA lines, no long-term parking lots, just a seamless boarding experience that takes minutes, not hours. You settle into one of just 22 oversized first-class seats with a 140-degree reclined leg rest and a cabin attendant serving complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips, full meals. If you need to relax, you lean back and enjoy the ride. Or if you want to stay productive, there's high-speed Wi-Fi and power at every seat, multiple outlets of power, by the way. Fall travel is booking fast. Reserve now for November trips. Texas OU in Dallas, ACL in Austin, college football weekends in Nashville, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston, all of them, as well as Plano and the Woodlands now, as well as San Antonio and Fort Worth. Visit VaughnLane.com. Use code OTF25 to save $20 on your first ride. Vaughn Lane, elevated regional bus transportation. Again, every single Thursday, Coffee and Football brought to you by our friends over at Vaughn Lane.
I'm also a big fan of Vaughn Lane. They don't go to South Florida, so I'm taking Jeep Lane to South Florida next week to go see Dia Bell, Derek Cooper, James Johnson, kid at Miami Norland. and probably a stud sophomore quarterback at Vero Beach.
Hey, I
And
forgot.
by the way, Ski Break, we haven't heard any highlights from your Disney week yet. So I know you're midweek into your Disney, but we need some highlights.
Pirates of the Caribbean ride, always my favorite. Low impact,
Animal Kingdom,
cool breeze. One other note on that on the tailgate, there is a $200 duck camp giveaway. So every home game this year, we're giving away a $200 duck camp gift card by drawing. Whoever's there can win.
Oh, there's Ski Breck. He's repping his OTF gear at Disney. That's a winner. Thank you, Ski Breck.
Definitely. We got a couple of super chats left here. Sugarcane Daddy, thank you for the super chat. Says, what does the Texas football universe look like if Caleb Downs never transfers to Ohio State? He made an impact in both games.
It's a great question. And how has college football changed if Nick Saban was still coaching and all those guys stayed on that team?
Alabama fans want to know that answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are ready. I mean, look, you think Arch Manning has been under the microscope? Arch Manning's been under the microscope around the country, by people that should be taught. I mean, whether it's Chase Daniels or Joel Klatt or Dan Orlovsky or Bruce Arians or all these guys. Boy, Kalen DeBoer right now is getting a proctology exam. Every ounce of him, and it is brutal. That loss to the Seminoles for Alabama. Obviously, the reason we bring that up is Caleb Downs transferred from Alabama to Ohio State 2 years ago. I would got to be strange to go to work in Tuscaloosa today. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, look.
Next head coach, they're already odds.
Here's what I'll say about all this. Kalen DeBoer is a tremendous football coach. Okay, if he's pretty ballsy to take that job, by the way, that's a high level of confidence. Alabama better be very careful.
Yes,
you better be very careful. Unless you can get Marcus Freeman, maybe Dan Lanning, you better be very careful. We've seen this all happen before. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, look at some of the names on that list. Some of them are just a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are just flat out a joke. But better be careful. That's all I'll say on that.
Kurt Cignetti I personally think Kurt Cignetti would get that job.
Yeah. By the way, Jenny just came in and said, hi, did we start yet? Like the Texas offense, you're here in the fourth quarter. Jenny's doing her best Texas offense impersonation today.
I need to tell that.
Showed up in the fourth quarter.
You're good. It's your mouth that says that, and then I'm going to be the one that has to pay for that comment. I want y'all to know. Thanks, Barry. I appreciate that very much.
You're about to get on a plane. Who cares?
Yeah. That makes it even worse in some ways, just for the record.
All right. Our last one for today comes from Rocky P. Rocky P, thank you. Says, after rewatching the Saturday game, I'm still solid on my prediction that LaFau will end up being our defensive MVP. I love how decisive he is and attacks.
If you made that call, and Rocky, I don't remember you making it, but I'll trust you. You're not going to be far off. I mean, what did he have? 8 tackles Saturday? Does that sound right?
Yeah, 8 or 9. Yeah.
Yeah. He may be. Every team needs a glue guy, but a glue guy that performs.
Yeah.
And puts stats on the board. Leongolo Fowl, with all the Colin Simmons, Anthony Hills, and Jelani McDonald, Michael Taft, all these guys that are getting all these accolades, all he does is go to work. So yes, I'm with you, Rocky P.
And I would say this: anybody that attacks Texas in 12 personnel, Leongolo Fowl is tailor-made to play the run. He is tremendous. He sees it. He reacts to it. No missteps, no false steps in the run game. Very rarely, not no, but very rarely. Anybody that wants to run the football against Texas, that's right up his alley.
All right, y'all. That's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football presented by Vaughn Lane. We want to thank them, along with Window Nation, Chubby's, Tecovas, Hexclad, and PrizePicks, all for sponsoring today's show. Bobby, what do you have for people later today?
Well, we had the video on Jonah Williams and as well as Emmett Mosley and some others earlier this morning. We're also going to have a live stream right after Steve Sarkisian speaks finally to the media one last time today at around 11 or 10:30 or 11. Jeff and CJ will be on hand for that. Then also tonight we have Football Theory. Rod Babers talks a little chalk talk, I guess is the best way to call it, about the Longhorns and what they did last week and what he hopes to see this week. And then we've got a bunch of stuff coming later tonight. Our Marcus Myers joins us, former player, joins Rod Babers and Jeff Howe for the Thursday night live stream. Again, join us tomorrow if you want to come out on Friday morning and mid-morning and have a little early lunch with us at Hayes City Store. And then tomorrow afternoon, if you're in town early and need to get some gear for the game, come out to the co-op between 3 and 4 tomorrow afternoon.
Speaking of gear, don't forget your OTF gear. You can use the QR code on the screen or head over to shop.ontexasfootball.com. Bobby has restocked it. Got hats, got a new mug. So go get you some gear as you gear up for the season. Well, I hope you all have an outstanding day today. Of course, we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Of course, Bobby and Jerry in a new location. So be sure to tune in for that.
Apparently on the tailgate of a South Point Dodge with hay around me.
It's going to be fun, man. Aren't you going to eat the truck stop enchiladas tomorrow, though?
I don't know. I feel like I'm about to do the Friday night call for a Carthage High game, too. Coach Surratt, thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Well, again, we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you all have a great day. So for Bobby and Jerry, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.